Welcome to the Ultimate Career Planning series. In this series, you would have probably seen me talking about who's a self-starter, what are the characteristics of a self-starter, what is the power of being a self-starter, how do you find your locus of control, it can be the intrinsic or the extrinsic. And in the last video, I spoke about 5 tools that can really empower you, push you, and not just enhance the potential, but also give you that kinetic energy for you to get started to take actions. All right. So in this video, I'm going to be talking about breaking the barriers to being a self-starter. Stay tuned. Welcome to Enriching Beliefs. This is Karthik. Thank you so much for tuning in. Well, one thing you have to understand is all the motivations that we take every single day, or if you're someone who really want to get motivated for a specific time, well, that's great. But the bigger problem of being motivated is having that consistent set of motivation. And one of the reasons why people's motivation die out is because they keep facing obstacles. And self-starters always know that because they're someone who want to do certain new things, they're really creative, they're problem solvers. They don't just look at certain problems, they go and try to find the solution. They are thought leaders, they're looked upon as potential leaders. Because they're this kind of a person, they constantly keep hitting barriers. So if you know this for a fact that, if you're someone who's trying out new things, you're constantly going to face certain one of the different kind of challenges. So in this video, you're going to be understanding what are the barriers a self-starter might face and what are the strategies for you to be aware of, so that when you hit that barrier, you know how to resolve that. All right, so let's get started with that. Let's start with the concept or the mindset that one needs to have while trying to resolve certain barriers. The first thing is focus on what you do. Focus on what you can do and really don't be worried about things that are not in your control. If you can really focus on things that you have a potential to come up with a solution or even make others be aware of that, I think you're really doing a good job. Because many a times what happens is the problems that are out there, they just go unnoticed. And even to bring a certain problem to the awareness of others, that itself is a great solution. All right. So that's the first concept or mindset one needs to have when there are certain barriers that you might face while trying out new things, trying out certain things which might risk either your time, money, or efforts. All right. The second thing is modern day managers are constantly looking at these things. All right. They're just setting targets, and the onus is totally upon people to figure out the rest of the things, figure out what are the solutions. They're just setting targets, and through this, you're going to definitely face a lot of challenges, and you have to navigate through this. And for you to navigate through this, you need to be a self-starter. You need to understand the importance of having this self-starter potential in you, and also certain barriers that you might hit, and the strategies that you're going to learn now. All right. So let's see what are the barriers and certain common barriers and certain strategies that you can make use of. The first barrier and strategy for that is, the first barrier you will face is overcome the instinct to wait for permissions. Why I say this is, we've been really trained, our mind is trained, we are so glued to this fact that we have to always go ask for permissions and get things done. All right. This can be valid when it comes to a real war kind of a situation where it's a matter of life and threat. The decisions that you're going to make, the strategies that you're going to use can be the determining factor when it comes to being alive or dead. But let's accept one thing, that we're not in those kind of situations. It might definitely risk your time, money, and energy, but it's okay to make certain decisions based on this. Let's see what are the strategies you can employ when you're just overthinking or overweighting for someone to give you that permission. All right, the first one is being proactive. All right, the thing which self-starters do is identifying a problem, finding answers, seeking solution proactively. As I just said, you're not in a real war-like situation, right? If you think that these are things that you can, in a calculated way, you can take this risk, and it's not going to be detrimental to the overall goal of your team, of your organization, I think you should go and do it. All right, so be ready to act with right information as your guide. As I said, if you still think that this can have serious consequences, you need not have to instinctively do it. You can base your decisions based on right information. You can even study certain similar problems that have been taken up in your organization or even outside and what kind of outcome they have had, and then make your decisions. All right, so that's the first. Those are the first kind of barriers that you might face, and how do you overcome these things? So what I would suggest is make informed decision. If you know that this is not going to be having a serious consequence in the future, just go ahead and do it. The second one is overcome the fear of failure and be more comfortable with discomfort. And just being a self-starter, what you're essentially saying to others is that I'm really not afraid of failures, because I know that I'm someone who's creative. I'm trying to solve a problem. I've identified a new problem for which probably solution does not exist at all. Even your higher ups, your managers, even for them, this might be a new problem, which means the only way to solve it is to fail, right? So don't fret this fear of failure. Let's see what are the strategies you can make use of here. Okay, self-starters embrace change and believe in their ability to succeed. So now just look at it this way, that there are chances of failure, but what are the things that you might achieve, your team might achieve, your organization might achieve when you succeed doing this? What were the things that the world could achieve if I, in spite of failing, if I push through and get the solution to how an electric bulb works? What is the consequence the world will have? Probably this was the thought that Thomas Alva Edison had. What are the consequence that in spite of all these failures, if I push through and get it to that finish line, what will the world look like when I create an electric car? Probably this was the thoughts of Elon Musk. What are the consequences? I know I already blew up 3 aircrafts or 3 spacecrafts, but what will happen if we as humans can colonize Mars? What if we can become an interplanetary species? Probably these were the thoughts of Elon Musk, right? So that's what is going about, and the SpaceX is all about. So just don't fret the failure. Look at what can happen when you succeed. All right. So the second one is potential for failing doesn't just justify failing to try. As I said, I think in the previous videos I spoke about this. Some real long-time thinkers, they understand the Pareto's principle, they understand the 80-20 principle. They know that even if in your lifetime you have only tried all those 80% of things that failed, you have actually eliminated so much for the future generation to try. So if you're a long-time thinker, if you're not here just for your fame and name, if you know that this is a real problem that you're solving that can serve humanity, I think you shouldn't really fret the potential to fail. You should just try to eliminate those 80% of things that do not work. All right, so if this was a really bulb on or a super learning moment, just give me a comment and share your like and love for this video. All right. So the third one is try, fail, and learn from experience. So we always, I'm sure you would have come across these quotes that you don't have to always learn from your failures. You can learn from someone else's failure. Therefore, your failures can become someone else's case studies, right? So try, fail, and learn from experience. And the fourth one is find value in even the worst experiences. As I said, the value that you are creating for others, someone else to not try the things that failed, itself is a great value, right? So think long term, take up problems that are really big than just yourself, just for your own benefits. I'm not trying to say that you do it, but even if you have those kind of thoughts, take up something really big that can change the face, change the lives of so many millions of people. So that's something that can really drive you to take up or even go forward even when things are failing. All right, so that's the fourth point. Let's look at the third kind of barrier that one might face, and how do you overcome that? Overcome your inner critic or the little voice and banish imposter syndrome. Studies shows that imposter syndrome exists. Few studies which I have done, it says there's nothing like that. But even if it is, even if there are negative thoughts that are coming up, you can eliminate those things. All right, so let's see how do you do it. So little voice is the one that tells you without logic or evidence that you are not qualified to do what you are planning to do or for your role. Let's say you're trying to change a job, you're trying to take up some new challenges. You have the mindset, but probably not so much of experience. But then your little voice might be saying, you are not good enough for this role. Have you encountered any such thing? So tell your little voice to just shut up and go ahead and do it in spite of all those fears. How do you overcome imposter syndrome? Few points here. Picture how you would act if you were confident. What would you say and do? Affirmations. You learned about affirmations of a growth mindset in the previous video. If not, do go and watch out and create your list of affirmations from that. Third one, how would you present yourself? How do you show up? How can you be rational and not let a thing that talks to you without logic or evidence to say, you just shut up. I'm being rational and I know that this can yield better results. Fifth one, remind yourself of your past achievements. Always do this. So in my course, I always teach this. How can you be a self-leader or a self-starter? Three main areas, which is about self-awareness, self-regulation, and the very, very important thing is self-care or self-love. All right, so remind of your past achievements. You being here means that you're someone who's really interested and keen on learning, on growing your career. And I'll leave a link where you can reach out to me live in my live webinar, where I'll be sharing some really powerful secrets on now you're learning this concept and how you can make use of certain systems to get into implementation mode. As you know, self-starters also take action more than anyone else. They take risk, they take calculated risk and keep going forward. Or it's sixth one being, ask your friends, colleagues to remind you of your past success. If you think that you cannot silence those negative thoughts, chatter yourself, go ask for help. This is a very underrated thing that people don't do. They really don't know how to connect and ask for help. Just go and casually talk to your colleague or friend. Ask them, what do you think were my past success? Probably you being part of this organization itself is a big success. You are in a place where so many people just dream of. Look at it in a positive way. And the seventh one is reinforce the positive to silence the negative. As I said, re-energize those positive thoughts so that the negative thought all automatically lose energy. So what is energy? When do you say something is hot and something is cold? It's a comparative analysis. So when you feed more energy to the positive thought, it will automatically become more energetic. All right. Here's a pro tip. I think I just said that. Watch my previous video where I share affirmations to develop growth mindset. I share a list of growth mindset and you can make use of it and turn it into an affirmation statement. And whenever certain thoughts, negative thoughts, which is which is not empowering enough, comes across in your mind, make use of those affirmation statement, say that out loud and keep going forward. All right. So I think that's the end of the video. Those are the three kind of big barriers that one might face when they have identified their self-starter potential, when they've started taking action, but still they find certain things that they have to navigate through. Make use of these strategies to go past those fears, those barriers. And if you're finding value, do subscribe, do leave a like and comment below so that I know I have audience who are really serious about their growth, their career success. All right. So thank you again so much for tuning in. Check out my links, join them. I'll be glad to help you out. All the best. Take care.